Nikon ZF major firmware update 2.0. Will Z6III get bird detection? Matter when? Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you're doing well today. It's always great to see you. So, Nikon just dropped a major firmware update for the ZF, version 2.0, and it brings a ton of new features. Now, for all those autofocus enthusiasts out there, you might be wondering, did they finally add bird detection? Let's dive into what's new. Since the ZF was released in September 2023, there have been two updates, but this one is huge. It adds several key features that make the camera even more versatile. First up, the imaging cloud. This new feature lets your camera upload images automatically to the cloud as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi. Nikon offers free cloud storage for up to 30 days, and you can sync it with services like Dropbox or Google Drive for long-term storage. It's a huge time saver since you don't need to remove your memory cards anymore. Speaking of cards, the ZF has two card slots, one of which is a micros, which means you don't ever need to take them out unless you're replacing them. That's one less thing to worry about. Along with this, the update gives you access to imaging recipes, which are creative styles. You can download some from Nikon and others from third-party creators. This is perfect for those who love experimenting with different looks right in camera. One more cool thing about Imaging Cloud, firmware updates can now be done directly over Wi-Fi. No more removing cards or dealing with firmware files manually. Just connect to Wi-Fi, and you're good to go. Now, for the birding crowd, yes, there's dedicated bird detection mode. Nikon says this will speed up the time it takes to acquire focus on birds, and it'll work even with smaller birds or in tricky backgrounds. This is definitely a game changer for wildlife photographers. I'll talk a bit more about what this means for the Z6III in a minute, but let's keep moving through the updates. For video enthusiasts, the ZF now includes a high-res zoom feature for full HD 1080p recording. This lets you double your lens field of view, basically turning a 50mm lens into a 100mm equivalent, which is great for tighter shots. Keep in mind this only works in 1080p, not 4K, because it uses a digital zoom, but it's still a handy tool. In terms of manual focus, you now get 400% magnification for more precise focus control when using manual lenses, double what it was before. This is a big improvement, especially for those who rely on accurate focusing. Also, if you're using non-CPU lenses, the ZF now lets you input more detailed lens information, like the name and exact focal length. This makes the camera even more customizable. For those who like shooting at night or on a tripod, there's a new exposure delay mode that lets you set a delay of up to 3 seconds. Giving you time to let any camera shake settle before taking the shot. A small but really useful feature, especially if you forget a remote release. Lastly, you can now reassign the command dials to control ISO and exposure compensation, rather than just the dials on the top. This makes shooting in manual mode a bit more flexible. All in all, this update is a big deal. 18 months after the ZF's launch, it brings in a lot of improvements and features that we've seen in other Nikon cameras. Now, as for the Z8 and ZF both getting bird detection and firmware updates after launch, this raises an interesting question. What about the Z6III? The Z8, the ZF, and the Z6III all share similarities in their development timelines. So could the Z6III be next in line for bird detection? There's definitely a chance. When Nikon launched the Z8 and ZF, their firmware was already in the works before bird detection became a standard feature. That's why it wasn't included at launch, but now we're seeing it come to both cameras through firmware updates. The Z6III could follow a similar pattern just a bit later, likely within the next 6 to 9 months. If Nikon can integrate it into the Z6III, it would be great for bird photographers and wildlife enthusiasts. It's clear that Nikon is rolling out bird detection to their 24MP full-frame models, and the Z6III could be next. We'll have to wait and see, but with recent updates to the ZF, I'd say the odds are looking good. Before I wrap up, just a heads up, this update includes a lot more changes and fixes. So if you own a ZF, make sure to update your camera to take advantage of all the new features. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments. Do you have the ZF? What color did you choose? And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so, you don't miss out on future updates. Catch you later.